We're so back. We have finally arrived to the major, boys. I am ecstatic because the storylines heading into this are insane. First of all, we got the boys back together. The world is healing. It's enough to make a grown man cry. We got Simple back in tier 1, bringing a crazy FaZe roster to the major. We got NAVI's last dance. Donk going for his back-to-back. The Vitality roster trying to cement themselves as one of the best rosters in Counter-Strike history. And Zywoo's chance to silence the GOAT status doubters. Not to mention, we got the major in God's country now, boy! I'm feeling like a fresh pack of Newports and a 6-pack of Bud Light. $1 million bucks. I'm hyped, and I don't want to edge you any longer. So Masha, lock in, and let's hop in, baby girl.
Frankly, y'all, I can't even believe it needs to be said, but having slaves don't make me a racist.
Wait, I think I've seen this logo before. Whoa! If it isn't Austin, Texas himself, the home team. Surely nothing happens to jeopardize their major run on their own soil. So let me get this straight. They lost their all-star liege to a midnight succubus, rebuilt the team without him, found amazing success at Bucharest, proving all the doubters wrong, just for Border Patrol to trap Halzerk in a bar with Magnus Carlsen, right before a major in their hometown. Hey bro, I couldn't have wrote it better myself. Unless someone whips out one of the 50 million pieces you got laying in your backyard and wins an IRL round for you, you're cooked. I'll be perplexed if I see them make it past the first.
I like them too much, that's why we give so much, you know?
Heroic hit the biggest lick of 2025 3 days into the year. They farmed the Falcons for every drop of oil they had, and then some, with some pies joining the roster. Winning this major matters to Heroic as much as hygiene matters to MOUZ. They're stacking barrels. They rebuilt their roster with the old core of Sangal, snagged Tanir from Guns, and farmed some tier 2, tier 3 tournaments. I think they're doing alright. You'll see them in a second. If there's two things Wildcard knows, it's making it to the major and taking half of Amaranth's money.
I like them too much, that's why we give so much, you know?
Oh, hell nah. The downfall of G2 needs to be studied. As if losing the greatest rifler of all time wasn't bad enough. You sold the only piece of hope this team had left to the same org that took NiKo off your hands. Not in front of the baddies, bro. Now, you're left with Snacks, Mogolz, who's in a generational slump, becoming the dollar store Don, the wrong Kovac, Heavy God, and some mediocre opera from Monty. Not to mention how Taz had to fill in for Hunter and Astana, and he kept up with your top fraggers? And he was out fragging Snacks most of the time? Oh, buddy. I gotta stop it here, or else I could talk about G2 for hours. They're in shambles. I got G2 going 0-3 in the second, and I don't even know who they're playing. Unlike a lot of lower seeded teams, Fade actually has some legs to run on, that being the duo of MPL and Headtrick. The average player is like, what, 21? The only thing this roster lacks is experience. They're like the Montreal Canadiens, Aurora and Hype rookies. They've been having a great year, allowing Bait to have some decent success. We're probably seeing them make it to the second, and hell, get the meds ready, because I think there's even a chance we see them in the third. Look, I don't know how we're here, but we're here. The most auraless team that has or will ever exist is dominating as a top 3 team. They bench one of the best IGLs in the game, and the only person with any sort of aura, Zywoo, baby. Everyone from analysts to pros and fans were shocked. How could they do this? There's no way Spinks and a Brolin IGL could fix this roster. Then they go on to win their first event with Spinks, make 2 grand finals after that, and 2 semis after that. They only lost to number 1 and number 2. I don't know what happened. Maybe Zywoo was mogging the rest of the roster so hard they had no confidence. They couldn't shoot because Zywoo was mewing in their peripheral vision. Maybe the coach wasn't putting enough love into those sussy ass massages that for some reason he can't breathe without. If I seen my kid's coach touching him like this in between the play, I'm calling Chris Hansen. MOUZ is like a rat. Small, auraless, but you don't want to go near it. You don't want to get bit.
I think they might just do it this. Yep, killed him.
Matters, and the thicker competitors typically fare well in this event.
What would you do if you had the world in your palms. Imagine, you've got a once-in-a-bloodline talent, the Gojo of the Counter-Strike universe, and an elite top 3 opera in the world. I'll tell you what Spirit would do. They'd show up once a month to get knocked out in semis. You came into the year with the major and lifted the first trophy of 2025. And then Vitality mollywops you in the grand final at Kato, and it's just downhill. Sure, you guys won Astana, but let's not act like that was the strongest tournament when your top 3's not even in it. We love Magix. He does haha funny things. But recently, him and Chopper have been battling for custody over a kid named Bottom Fragger. Zontic sees the leaderboard as a character model because he's just aiming for the middle of it. Spirit's giving JKS G2 right now. A star opper, a star rifler, and then a mid-off. The only thing that can save Spirit, the only thing that has saved Spirit, is a donk masterclass for the ages. Free donk till it backwards!
Flimsy! Flimsy! Oh! Tu prends la souris, tu cliques! Tu cliques!
Gravity wants to be Apex so bad. Since the RMR for Shanghai, they've been climbing up the rankings, proving that they aren't some French people you want to ignore. I'm astonished. Making it to most of the tier 1 tournaments and even winning some pretty clean BO3s against some top teams. But it's a Vitality era. Apex and Zywoo are your Francais daddies, and that's all there's room for. You'll be out in the 3rd. They finally updated the roster, benching TYLOO and Skulls. To kickstart this roster change, something nutty happened. Unk let the op go. He is now officially just a rifling IGL, and I gotta say, we're all impressed. He was killing it in Astana. With this, they imported a new opera from Kazakhstan, Molodoy. He killed it at Astana, and he was killing it at Dallas. Especially considering he's only been playing for a few years apparently, that's what I heard. Which is insane. Maybe I'm shooting the fun here, but we could be seeing a potential future top 5 opper. On top of that, they picked up a Yakindar no one believed in. He seems to be at least better than what he was on Liquid, and he may not look like his top 10 old self, but he looks better than his Liquid old self. This roster honestly has some promise. We may be looking at the Trojan horse of Texas. As a NA resident, it saddens me to bring you this news, but I have one question. How in the blue ball Jesus did y'all get your ass beat by a Monocelus G2? And with Taz subbed in for Hunter? Oh hell no. I mean look, you guys can take a map off some decent teams. You can even beat a decent team, but nothing's happening in Texas unless you clone Lake a few times and fill out the roster. My glorious NA king.
I can open fire, bro. Only one flag. I'm fucking noob, bro. Only one flag in 12 rounds. I'm so fucking noob.
I fucking love these guys. As the second best Asian team in the world, I'm praying my boys make it past the first stage. I need as many interviews from them as humanly possible. They are fucking hilarious. We also need some more Asian CS. Come on. The Mogolz are really the only tier 1 Asian team we got. We need to lock in, boys. I'm looking at you, G. Wait, ain't y'all get slumped by my mans? You'll be out in a second, but I fucks with the stickers. Holy magaroni. Liquid finally got Twist to go back to being a star rifler with the addition of Chue, baby. On paper, this roster looks like it can make a deep run into the major, but there's a slight issue. NAF hit the disaster class Benjamin back at Kato, and ever since, he's been blowing O's. Not to mention Ultimate and Nerds are still trying to find their consistency on Liquid. Plus with Shuei coming back from a 3-month break and the roster being fairly new, it's hard to say if they've had enough time to work together as a solid team. The pieces are there, they just need to let the chess speak for itself. And for the riflers to do their job, but we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that.
Joy was snicker 9 feet tall.
I'm sorry, boys, but I need the women here. The only thing that could have made this major even more cinematic would be the Valkyries. Me personally, I just think there should be a day of reconciliation for women's periods. And I think all women's hygiene products should be free. And I think women shouldn't have to deal with... another Brazilian team. To be specific, one of the 5 attending the major, but like most of the Brazilian teams, they ain't cutting it. The only real star power anyone expects out of MIBR is from Insani, and that's been gone to the wind so far this year. I got no hopes for him.
People insist on saying Chingiss Khan wrong.
Dude, what is his name? Like, I actually had to watch some random white guy explain to me the meaning of Chingiss just so I knew I wasn't saying a slur. The Mogolz? More like the fucking Mogolz. Because they're shitting on any team that ain't top 5. They're really showing us why they are the best Asian CS has to offer. 9-10 shitting on tier 1 offers with like only 4,000 hours in the game. And every player on this team has moments where they can show off their impact or mechanical skill. On top of all this, the average player age on this team is like 21, making it even more impressive. It's like MOUZ if they had Aurora. Their only problem last year seemed to be a kryptonite made out of NAVI. But now that that's been sent back into fucking space, there's potential for something to happen here. So far this year, we've pretty much only seen them in playoffs, and half the time they were knocked out by Vitality or Falcons. But I wouldn't put a diamond coin on them. NRG? More like RNG, because that's what they're gonna need to have a decent run. Also, rest in peace to bro. There's no way Astral's dumped you here. Aurora? I think you'll mean Aurora. Well, it looks like all these group stage merchants know how to do is make it to playoffs. Let's be honest. Xantares is stuck trying to carry bot AAA and with Cadia, let alone the entire team in playoffs. Major's been a fantastic IGL, but the supporting cast of Xantares just leaves every time they get to a stage. Maybe Eternal Fire's still holding on to their voodoo dolls, poking them whenever they make it past the group stage. Either way, these guys seem to have the 2024 MOUZ curse. Xantares would carry this team. Well, 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 would you look at the time? You know, who really wanted the Falcons to succeed? Nobody. But then something magical happened. They reversed 9/11. I could scream like a little girl right now. m0UZ and NiKo on the Falcons single-handedly saved this org. I was ready to shit on NiKo all year for joining this dumpster, but I understand now. They're building something. They're building something Pocratudinous. With the rumors of benching Magisk to pick up Kioske, I believe in the NiKo major. m0UZ's been putting up masterclass after masterclass. Kixon's been making amazing calls. This may be NiKo's time. The stars might be aligning. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Embarrassing. But the only player who's had even a decent event was Flit. MOUZ had an amazing year last year, joined VP, and said, "Thanks for the bag, fuckwads," and proceeded to fall off a cliff. Icy seen that and said, "Hey yo man," and did the same thing. Dame's putting on a stinker class. Electronics is washed as my white shirt with taco stains on it. Excessively. There's no hope for this team.
Can your vagina be too wet? 100%. And here's how.
The second coming of Jesus Christ has finally materialized. FaZe finally benched Choki, and Simple is back in tier 1, and it could not have been more cinematic. Simple was glazed so hard, you'd think his name was Bonnie Blue. We may be looking at a FaZe that can actually win a major grand final. Who would have thought we'd have a Liege, Simple, Rain, and Kerrigan on the same team? What timeline am I living in right now? The aura radiating from this roster is sinister. Simple said it himself. He's here to show everyone who the real GOAT is. I guess you could say Simple retiring was just the phase. Wait, am I a fan now?
Fucking play one round without saying something after.
No,
really?
bro, but it's good.
If NAVI was a booby, their milk would be chunky. Because this shit's getting fucking old. We were number 1. Now we barely get to playoffs. Just to get embarrassed. by a Strawless with a Hooksy stand-in? Actually, I can't even be mad at the Hooksy part. But still, no one can step up the carry, and everybody's inconsistent. Actually, that's a lie. They're consistently ass. Watching Navi feels like watching a car speed towards a cliff. Imminent doom. JL lost his major MVP impact. Alexi B's emotionally abusing Ema. Bit only gets excited to put up a masterclass when it comes to beating women. Ema's being emotionally abused, probably crying in between rounds. And Wonderful can't bring any impact with the op. 2025 Navi gives off the worst vibes imaginable. It's like trying to work things out with your ex, but you haven't broken up yet. We talked about G2's last dance in Shanghai. Now it's Navi's turn. Anything short of a very clean, deep run or a grand final appearance, and this roster is broken up. I feel like I'm burying my own child. This is my 9/11. I can't watch. What a shit show. Free our mans. Alright. Fair warning. I may be glazing Vitality like she's the first baddie I've cracked in years. It's hard to shitpost about a roster with Zywoo having a generational run Counter-Strike 2 has never witnessed before, okay? Who knew dropping Spinks for Robs would be the catalyst for the first era of CS2? While in the most competitive year CS has ever had in regards to its top 3 players. And I would even say top 5 teams. Cinema. This team is about as perfect of a roster as you can have. Apex's calling is easily the best out of any IGL right now. Not to mention he can show up individually. Zywoo's had the highest level of consistency out of any player so far this year. Yes, I think he edges Donk. Flamesy is an amazing entry. Robs is back to a top 5 form. Must have sold the Porsche. Mezzi's anchoring like he's next to his hotter friend at a bar. They're obviously the clear favorites. But it's never the favorites that win this anyways. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, I don't know, maybe like it. If you liked it, hit subscribe if you want to give half the lifespan back to someone you love. Or take half the lifespan from someone you hate, because I don't judge. Thank you so much for all the support. It's great. I love making these videos. Next one for the playoffs. Remember to take care of yourself and that you are loved. You are worth somebody's time and effort. Peace out, baby girl.